Hey guys, welcome back to the Newsarama Skybox here at New York Comic Con. I'm Justin Tyler, and we're here with the team from Justice League War. It's Jason, Jay, James, and Jandrea. It's a J-heavy world we're living in.
It's Andrea.
It's Andrea, of course. Let's talk the movie. It's doesn't come out for when does it come out? 2014.
Early 2014.
Great, and it's set in it's the first story from the New 52 in the DC universe to come to the animation side.
Correct.
Tell us how it came about and what it's like.
Pretty much we did Flashpoint, and it was originally going to be a standalone movie, and our bosses decided, wow, this movie's really good. Like the comic book, it kind of jump-started the New 52, and that was doing real well for the comic book company, so they said, well, let's try that with the DVDs and give ourselves a new launching pad to kind of give the DVDs a new spin. So that's kind of how it came about.
So it is the fresh continuity. How does that change in the movie side?
It's a younger Justice League. They're not even the Justice League when we first meet them at the beginning of the piece, and some of them have only been superheroes for a short period of time, so they're still working on their own personal skills and then their interpersonal skills, because they have to deal with each other, and there's conflicts, and there's learning to work as a team, and there's likes and dislikes, and there's romance and all kinds of good stuff.
Very cool. With a younger team, how does that change? You've worked on every animation thing in almost the entire world. But how does it change your look at the characters?
It did. And as a matter of fact, when we were working on it initially, because we all work on multiple projects simultaneously, I do tend to get confused. I know, it's shocking. I tend to get confused. And I actually forgot that in this world, these characters were kind of new and somewhat innocent in a way.
Right.
And so I had the actor Alan Tudyk, a wonderful actor, play Superman a little bit too, what would you say? How would you describe it?
Arms akimbo.
Yeah, arms akimbo. Like he was really used to being Superman.
Yeah.
And in fact, he was kind of only just becoming him. So we had to play him with a little more innocence. We had to go back and fix some of that. So it was, kind of a learning curve for me too, as to, oh yeah, this isn't a group that's been working together for years. This is them first getting together, and they treat each other differently, and their voices are younger, and the whole thing has a different energy to it.
I love the voice work and how saying you had to go back and change it. I think that's so interesting how just a little tweak really changes the whole project. And that's you're the voice of Batman, Jason. That must be something that you could speak to.
Yeah, I came into this with my own sort of preconceived ideas of what I wanted to do, and it became very clear immediately that I would have to make some changes of my own. Also working with Andrea was just an amazing experience, because it's like having a mirror there.
Yeah.
I'm sort of trying out things, and she's sort of picking out what's working and picking out what isn't. So that was an amazing experience, but it's all about modulation. It's all about trying to find the true voice,
Yeah.
Not the forced voice, not the voice you think would be really cool or whatever, but it's about trying to find a voice that sounds real and natural and truthful. And that was a process as well for me, which is getting easier now as we're sort of warming into it.
I imagine once you have it, it's sort of like,
once you have it, it's a little easier, but it's still in the first 10 minutes of every session takes a little warming up.
Right. And how do you find, Batman's whole thing is experience and knowing what's going on and sort of darkness. How do you find that youthful part of that character?
You can't act that. That's why
that's right.
That's casting.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, so I do my thing, and only later do I see how it fits into the bigger picture, and that's really exciting as well. Hearing what the other actors have been doing with their sessions, and you see it all cut together, and it's really cool. The cast for this is amazing.
It is.
Did anything change from the comic that it's based on in the final product?
A few things. We
Sure.
follow the arc for the most part, but of course we left out one of the characters and we replaced it with somebody else.
And we've been getting in trouble for that.
Yes.
The fans are not happy about that.
But that character will get an epic treatment in the future,
make it up.
in the near future. So I think fans will still be happy with that. But for the most part, it tracks the arc that was in the comic. We don't do a direct adaptation like I did with The Dark Knight Returns, where it's like panel for panel. This one was we loosely based upon what happened in the comic, but at the same time we expanded and kind of condensed a few things, just because we wanted to make sure it's a standalone film that can be told in 80 minutes.
Yeah, I imagine it's hard to just make something that's so concise because you're telling the whole story in one shot. And we focus on Cyborg a lot in this and his sort of introduction. and which is what the comic is about as well. Did that take more focus in this?
It wasn't. It didn't predominate over. It wasn't massively a cyborg story. It really was a story about all of them. But that's a really interesting story.
Yeah.
Cyborgs, how he becomes cyborg, and I liked it in particular because there's an emotional connection there. He's not bitter, but he's angry that his dad is not paying attention to him. And then this horrible thing happens, and Dad truly shows how much he does love him by doing anything he possibly can to save his life, even making him less than human, because he's not.
Yeah.
What is he? Is he even half and a half? He's like
I think he's less.
He's less than
that. Yeah.
But Dad is like, I'll do
10%.
Yeah,
really.
I'm sure a fan will write in with the exact percentage.
Probably,
It's like
I'm sure.
14.6
Right,
human
exactly.
left in there.
Yeah.
But that for me was an interesting part of the story, was that father-son relationship. Those are the things that appeal to me. The fighting stuff, all the knock 'em, talk 'em, that's all great. It's wonderful. It's action. It really is beautiful. But I personally, as a woman, I like the emotional stuff that takes
A
place.
woman
She's
surrounded by J-men.
She says
Yes.
that, but she's really good at giving fight direction.
Yeah.
Really good. She's like, no, this is not a. This is a.
You're in the booth for hours just making grunts.
We
and
do that.
grunts.
We
You
do
don't
that.
want to get into a real fight with her.
Yeah, she's deadly. She's deadly.
Yeah.
If it happens, she's got 6 guys that come out of nowhere and you don't even see.
And then she'll correct your grunts. So she'll
Yeah.
punch
That's
you.
right.
Like, that's the wrong
That's
one.
wrong.
Exactly.
You should be crying more.
Yeah,
That's
that's
let me handle it. That's awesome. Are there going to be? I mean, I guess this is more for you. More books from the new or arcs from the New 52. They're going to make their way into the animated
They
world.
could answer better than I.
Oh, really?
Truly, yeah.
They're loose. Each of that adaptation after this gets looser and looser, but it will still be identified as a New 52 type story. But we're not following each arc that they've done. We're kind of going off in our own direction, taking the themes from what they've established and kind of doing our own stories. Because really, comic books are so convoluted now with storylines jumping from one character to another character. It'd be impossible to do a literal adaptation. So, but there's a lot of themes that I think skew more adult than previous comic books have. So we're going to take advantage of that and try to reach new audiences and also appease the fans who may have thought a lot of times we adapted things and didn't get past, say, the mid-90s with our characters.
Right.
Yeah.
We haven't done actual contemporary versions of these stories. So I think this New 52 adaptation is going to be a start in that direction.
So you may be taking older stories and keeping the younger versions of the characters.
Oh,
and
yeah.
telling
I
them?
mean, if there's a classic story that doesn't necessarily fit into what they've done in the comics with the New 52, we may adapt it.
Oh, that's great.
So, but it'll be totally fresh, our spin on it, a new version of an old story. So
That's really
that's
fun.
our goal.
Yeah, a whole new continuity that you're
Right.
building for,
Yes.
the,
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
next
We're looking
generation.
at this as not necessarily exactly what the comics are doing, but creating our own new continuity within the movie realm.
That's great.
Yeah.
And Jay, you worked on Man of Steel
Yes,
a little
yes, I
bit
did,
as well. Will you be working on?
I cannot deny or confirm that. I can't say.
I like that you said you cannot deny first, so we can really.
But I did the storyboards for all the action sequences. So if the fans have recognized a lot of the Superman-esque fighting in the films, it's because I brought that with me. So
that's-
More innocent people will die.
yes,
Yeah.
I have to say
That was you. I knew it was somebody.
I have to
else.
say this though: if you watch the Blu-ray of Man of Steel and all those buildings collapsing, if you look careful, you'll see a red streak go into each one.
Ah, that's-
the Flash saved everybody.
Great news.
Yeah. That's my story. I'm going to stick with it.
Well, good. Well, we'll maybe look forward to your work on
I
that as
hope
well.
so. I hope they call me.
And so, one more time, tell us when it comes out. Early next
Early
year.
2014.
And it'll be everywhere all the time for everyone to get.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sitting down and talking to us. And you guys stay tuned for a ton more here from the Newsarama Skybox.